This is a fictional, alternate timeline for entertainment. It is not news, not advocacy, and not a claim about real events. Welcome back to the super-bloc timeline. Last episode, the world didn't explode. It reorganized. Europe and an expanded BRICS bloc didn't just cooperate. They built a machine. Shared rules, shared financing, shared standards. And to be crystal clear, in this fictional timeline, Europe plus BRICS plus refers to major members like China and Russia, alongside other BRICS partners, working as one institutional bloc. And today, we start with the first brutal question that decides everything. Who gets access? And who gets left behind? Because in this timeline, the gate doesn't slam shut. It closes slowly. And a slow gate is the most powerful kind because you don't notice it until you're already stuck. Let's call this episode 2, the trade reset. Here's the first thing most people misunderstand about trade. Trade is not just ships and containers. Trade is permission. It is paperwork. It is insurance. It is standards. It is the invisible system that decides whether your product moves in 48 hours or sits for 48 days. In this super-bloc timeline, the trade reset begins quietly, not with bans, not with shouting, not with threats, with preferential lanes. Inside the super-bloc, the rules become unified. One certificate works across members. One compliance standard is recognized everywhere. Customs systems talk to each other. Port security procedures align. Insurance becomes cheaper because the bloc can guarantee stability on key corridors, and that creates a fast lane. Outside the bloc, nothing is officially forbidden. But friction increases. A document needs extra verification. A shipment needs additional inspection. A payment needs more compliance checks. An insurance premium rises. A container waits. And waiting is where money dies. Now, let us make this human again. Meet Maya and Jonas. Same family, same apartment, different mood. At first, they hear people online arguing about the trade reset like it is a sports match. But Maya is not watching for winners. She is watching for patterns. She goes to the supermarket and notices something strange. Some prices look calmer than last week, and some items are suddenly unpredictable. Not gone forever, just missing. Then back, then missing again. And that is what triggers stress. Stable prices are comforting. But unstable availability makes you feel powerless. Now meet Lena again, the founder. This episode hits her like a truck. Her product launch isn't stopped by one big dramatic decision. It is stopped by 10 tiny slowdowns. A supplier tells her, "We can still ship, but we need updated certification under the new corridor rules." A logistics partner says, "Your route is still possible, but it is now considered higher risk." An insurer says, "We can cover it." But the premium changed, and each change adds cost. Each cost adds delay. And each delay creates a new question from investors. Can you still deliver on time? This is how companies die in this timeline. Not by disaster, by uncertainty compounding. Now meet Tomas, who handles security protocols. Because trade isn't just commerce in this world. Trade becomes a security topic. When a bloc creates preferred lanes, it also creates preferred checkpoints. More scanners, more inspections, more watch lists, more coordination. On paper, it looks like efficiency. In reality, it is power. Because whoever controls the checkpoints controls the flow. And that's the first major strength of the super-bloc: scale plus coordination. When you coordinate at that scale, you do not need to win every negotiation. You become the standard that others have to adapt to. Here is the most important concept of this episode. The super-bloc does not have to force anyone. It just has to offer the best deal to members. That is how a gate works. It does not chase you. It just stands there, and the world reorganizes around it. So what happens to countries outside? They face a choice. Do we negotiate access and accept some rules, or do we build our own system and accept higher costs? And that is the trade reset in one sentence. The cost of being outside goes up. Now, what about America in this episode? In this timeline, America remains a superpower, but it stops being the default trade center for everyone because the super-bloc can internalize a huge share of trade inside its own machine. That means America adapts in 4 ways. First, it tightens alliances. Not as a moral crusade, but as a logistics plan because access is easier with friends. Second, it protects strategic industries, chips, energy infrastructure, defense manufacturing, critical software. Anything that would be painful to lose access to. Third, it pushes its own standards harder. Because if you cannot dominate trade volume, you can dominate the rulebook. And fourth, it competes on reliability. In a world split into systems, people will pay for the system that feels safest. Now, let's zoom out and show what makes the super-bloc strong, specifically in trade. 1. Market size. If the bloc contains a massive consumer base, companies want in, not because they love it, because they need it. 2. Resource linkage. If the bloc can bundle energy and raw materials with trade terms, it can offer stability that's hard to beat. 3. Corridor control. If major ports, routes, and insurance pools align, the cost advantage compounds. And 4. Standards. If products must be certified to enter the fast lane, then standards become the border. Now here's the emotional twist. Because this episode isn't about flags, it's about people. Maya's family wants calm. They want to plan the month. They want the feeling that a shelf will be stocked and a job will still exist next year. Lena wants certainty. Not a guarantee of success, just a system that doesn't change mid-flight. She can compete. She can hustle. But she can't compete with a moving target. Tomas wants clarity. Because when systems shift, frontline people carry the risk. They don't write the rules, they enforce them. And when the rules change fast, mistakes happen. Now, the biggest open loop in this episode, does the super-bloc use the gate gently, or does it use it aggressively? Because there are 2 versions of this timeline. Version 1, the gate creates stability. Trade becomes smoother inside, and outsiders negotiate fair access. Version 2, the gate becomes leverage. Access becomes conditional. And conditional access creates fear, retaliation, and fragmentation. And that brings us to the cliffhanger. Because next episode isn't about trade lanes, it's about the engine underneath them. Resources, oil, gas, critical minerals, food, fertilizer. Because once trade lanes are set, the next question becomes terrifying. Who controls the things the world cannot live without? If you want episode 3, Hit like so YouTube knows you want the next part, and subscribe so you don't miss it when it drops. And tell me in the comments, would you rather live inside the fast lane or outside it, paying the price for independence? Next episode, the resources game, and this is where the timeline gets dangerous.